This is Module 9, Lesson 3. This lesson is titled Use Multiplication and Division Equations to Solve Problems. So in Module 9, Lesson 2, we did addition and subtraction, and now we're going to do multiplication and division. You can find this on page 288, and we're going to start on the top with build understanding. Now I want you to kind of pay attention because we're not going to do all of it on the build understanding. Some of them you're going to get to X out, or if you're completing this online, you will not have to do it because I just don't like the way that it is going over it for you. Go ahead, we're on page 288, and let's look at the top. In the previous lesson, you learned to solve addition equations with a variable by subtracting. How can you solve a multiplication equation? So think about that. Number 1, a group of 4 people goes apple picking. They pick the amount shown. Look over here at the apple. It is 20 pounds of apples. They share the apples equally. How many pounds of apples does each person get? Let X. So they told you the variable. You don't have to come up with it. They told you the variable right here. And that was a terrible circle, but you can imagine I circled the X. Represent the weight in pounds of apples that each person receives. So right here it says number of people. Remember there are 4 people. So we're going to write 4 here. They already put the X there, and then the total weight of apples, we have the 20 right over here. So the equation, remember that dot is multiplication. So the new way we learned is a letter and a number next to each other is multiplication. So we have 4x equals 20. Now, if you look at your book, I don't like C, D, E, and F. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to solve this, like how we solve the addition and subtraction problem straight up with the math. We're not going to be doing that modeling with the algebra tiles that's showing you. Okay, when we did addition, the opposite addition was subtracting, so we subtracted. When we subtracted, the opposite of that is addition, so we're adding. So the opposite of multiplication is division. Right now, we're multiplying each side. So I'm going to divide each side by 4. I have to do the opposite to get the 4 to go to this side. So on the left-hand side, I have an X because 4 divided by 4 made it go away. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So my answer is 5. Each person gets 5 pounds of apples. Okay, we're going to turn over to page 289 on the top, and it's going to explain what we just did. The division property of equality states that you can divide both sides of an equation by the same non-zero number, and the two sides will remain equal. Like in this last one, we divided 4 on each side. Whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other side, just like when you do something to a fraction with the numerator and the denominator. Okay, let's look at number 2 here. What is the value of x in the equation 7x equals 119? Remember, a letter and a number next to each other mean multiplication, and they already have it up here for you. It says divide both sides of the equation by the same non-zero number to get x alone on each side. So the number that is by x is 7, and it was multiplying, so we need to divide it. So we have divide by 7. This 7 goes away. Divide by 7. 119 divided by 7 is 17. And now we're just going to check it. So I'm going to plug my answer in there. 7 times 17 is 119. So does 119 equal 119? Yes, it does. So we are right to go. You can always check your answer when you're doing this. It's not something very hard to do. It's just another step if you're concerned that you may not have the right answer. Okay, let's look down at number 3. Now we're going to look at the multiplication property of equality, and that states that you can multiply both sides of an equation by the same number and the two sides will remain equal. So this right here is one way to show division for you. You could also see this problem like this. That could be another way that you could write it. You're going to see them a lot like sitting like a fraction though. So right now we have x divided by 6 equals 9. Opposite of dividing by 6 is multiplying by 6. The 6's go away on this side, leaving an x on the left-hand side. If I multiply 6 on the left hand, I have to do the same on the right hand. So 6 times 9 is 54. To check the solution, substitute your answer. So my answer is 54. 54 divided by 6, 9. Is 9 equal to 9? Yes, it is. Let's look at C. Find the value of x if you know that x divided by 10 equals 9. So the opposite of dividing by 10 is multiplying by 10. So I'm going to multiply by 10 on each side. So on the left, I only have an x because my 10s go away. 9 times 10 is 90. Okay, so that's the value. We have 90. And described how I found the solution to do. I multiplied each side by 10. So I times 10 to each side. Okay, let's take a look on page 290 because that's where we are right now. And we're looking at number 4. A bag of 5 plum tomatoes weigh 1 pound. If each tomato weighs the same amount, what is the cost of 1 tomato? And they wrote the equation out for you. 5x equals $1.85. They got that from right there. So 5 is on the same side as the variable. So we're going to divide because division is the opposite of multiplication. We're going to divide both sides of the equation by the number 5 because that's the number by the variable. The result of performing the same operation on both sides of the equation leads to the solution. So if I come over to the side, I have 5x equals 1.85. The opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. 1.85 divided by 5 is 0.37. So we're going to put 0.37 right here. If you just put 0.37, not a big deal. You won't always have to put it on the number line. If they don't give you a number line, I'm not going to make you draw the number line. So we're going to come here, we're going to find 0.35, 36, 37 is right here. It's 2 spots after the 0.35. And let's check it. We're going to put our answer in here. I'm just putting 0.37 because I write too large to put 0.37. 5, remember, in parentheses means we're multiplying. 5 times 0.37 is 1.85. And it should equal 1.85 because that's what they have here. So 1.85 equals 1.85. Does your solution check? Yes. So interpret your answer. It just means each plum, tomato, costs $1.85. Hey, that's all there is for the step it out.